What timing this is, Aston Villa, because breaking news on Aston Villa's Twitter feed. They have just announced they are delighted to announce the appointment of Unai Emery as the club's new head coach.
Yep, so it's official. Unai Emery will be joining Aston Villa as their new manager. I'm joined with Sharman and Singh. And Mikey, you actually guessed this last week when we were having our roundtable talk.
I'm happy you pointed that out.
Well, you didn't get it. You mentioned, by the way, there's other names of interest. You weren't saying he's going to be the guy.
I threw out like 4 or 5 names. But hey, you got to play your chances, right?
This is how we're starting it. Okay, perfect. Well, yeah, a little bit surprised, I will say, because Villarreal, although coming off of their loss to Barca, last week, midweek, they're 7th in La Liga. They're tied with Bilbao, who's in 6th, so they're just outside of Europa League. We know how much Unai Emery loves Europa League, winning with Sevilla 3 times in a row, Villarreal just 2 years ago. Do you think it's good that he went to Aston Villa? Do you think that's fair to Villarreal, like the way he's left?
I know you don't think it's fair.
I
to
don't
Villarreal,
at all.
But we've seen this a couple of times already this year. Like Graham Potter went up and left Brighton, went to Chelsea. Money talks. At the end of the day, money, and also, as I mentioned last week, the opportunity to save Aston Villa and honestly make yourself look really good, because there's not that much saving to do. We're a handful of games into the season. They've had a poor start. They're dealing with injuries, but the talent that's on that roster is better than what they're showing right now, better than 15th place. So I think it's a good chance for Unai Emery to return to the Premier League, where it's left a bit of a sour taste in his mouth, the way that he ended his tenure with Arsenal. B, you have a club that's ambitious, a club that is willing to spend, a club that's willing to spend on you. And C, it's a chance to look good, because Aston Villa are going to probably turn their form around under Emery. So,
James, do you think that he has the ability to turn Aston Villa's form around?
Oh, yeah. I know a lot of Villa fans hoping for another former PSG manager, right, in Pochettino, which wasn't going to happen. But this is a really good hire. Yeah, 100%. This is a cultured manager who took Villarreal really as far as they can go, I think. And I think they realized that, he realized that. And it's always tough in the mid-season, I understand. But like Mikey said, this Villa team, they're a huge club. Don't forget that, right? They're not a super club, perhaps, but they're a huge club. Great history, great fan base, amazing stadium, and some talent on that team. I was watching this past weekend, the big win, and it's a pretty decent 11 he's got there. And like you said, this guy's got a big chip on his shoulder. He wants to prove something to the Premier League for how it ended at Arsenal. He did some good things at Arsenal, but he was never backed the same way that Arteta's been backed, ever. And he's kind of mentioned that since. Had he been given the same kind of budget and the allocations, he would have built that team differently. And I think even now, Arteta is taking advantage of some of the work that Emery did at Arsenal. And don't forget, he replaced Arsene Wenger there, right? That's tough. Real tough. So I think it's a great hire. This is one of the most respected managers in world football, and I think he will really lead Aston Villa. Whatever their promised land is that top 6? Could it be top 4 every now and again? I don't know. That might be a stretch, but I think he's definitely the right man for the job.
were you guys surprised to see Emery appointed as Aston Villa?
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit.
I mean, surprising, right?
Leaving mid-season is always weird for managers, so that's a bit of a stretch.
But I think that's a testament to how well Aston Villa did here. That we're all surprised that Emery is going to Villa, because it's a home run for a club like Villa, in my opinion, based on what Emery's accomplished.
Yeah. I will say, though, he's obviously done well at Villarreal. He's done amazing at Sevilla. But, we saw him struggle with Arsenal. We saw him struggle at Paris as well. Like with PSG, he did not do well with that club.
Relatively.
I think he was not the coach whatsoever. Pardon me?
With big egos at those
Yeah,
clubs.
of course. But still,
More so than
he
Villa.
knew what he was getting himself into. So I've really only seen him succeed in Spain. So I think that also might be something he's carrying, because he's been, around the block. Like you said, he's a very well-known manager with a big repertoire. But I think this is really important for him, because he really has only done well in one country. And now going back to the Prem, in the state that the Prem is, being the most competitive, it's really going to show, can he bring it?
I'll tell you this much. If he leads Villa to, say a top 6, top 7 finish, and wins the Europa League at some point, because he's going to win it at some point. It's what he does, right? They'll be all over that. Villa fans will love that. That is what they want.
100%.
A trophy for Aston Villa. in 2022, 23, 24. That'd be incredible. That's kind of what their aspirations are at this point, be it an FA Cup, be it a European Cup. Fantastic. And he'll build that team, I think, with the backing, and we'll get to that point where they are a contender for some trophies.
Just really quickly, guys, let's jump over to another Premier League club, Manchester United. Again, we're talking about Ronaldo. Surprise, surprise, he's back in training. Mikey, what do you make of this? We're just going back to, regular viewings here. And
Yeah, to be honest, he came out, he apologized. Did we love his apology?
Did
Maybe.
he apologize?
Did he apologize?
No, yeah, Ronaldo's version of apologizing. Apparently, him and Ten Hag have been in constant dialogue since it happened. Listen, at this point, what are you gonna do? You're gonna banish him for the rest of the season and make a bigger case of it? No, I mean both parties are hoping to move on, find a resolution, and he's gonna be in line to potentially play some minutes on Thursday. So I think they're just trying to put the whole situation behind them, and hopefully between now and January, when the window opens, they can just stay professional.
There's 6 games left, right, between now and then, with the World Cup break, of course.
Right.
6 games, right? They can surely, get on for 6 games. And then, like you said, January, worry about it then. Be it MLS, which was mentioned yesterday. Today, Napoli's being mentioned as a destination. Why they would mess with what's working there at the moment, I don't understand, because everything's going right at Napoli at the moment. But yeah, just get through this, lose the soap opera, play some minutes, maybe score some goals. Who knows? Who put it past him, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And just quickly on Manchester United, shouts to Michael Carrick, who's been named the new manager of Middlesbrough. We'll be watching that as well. But guys, stay with us. Coming up after the break, we're going to be talking UCL, and we're covering you with all the matches for Rapid Fire.